All right, ready. Whoa, wait a minute. There, that's better.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. And if you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working, midday. Children should be in here. And this place is licensed for 99 children. And this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing. And like I said, they literally spelt the word wrong on their sign. This is open and blatant fraud taking place here inside of Minnesota. The government is complicit with this, and this is just one of the hundreds of child daycare centers here inside of Minneapolis being ran by the Somali population. It's sad that it's happening here in Minnesota, and it stinks that it's happening and it's being labeled on the Somali population. However, that's just the facts of what's happening here inside of Minnesota. $1.9 million for this daycare center that can't even spell learning right.
Kids?
Come on, man. Stop throwing, bro.
Hey, these supposed to be the kids. Hey, where'd y'all bring the kids from? They just imported some kids into the learning center. Shoot, I mean, not as kids. I don't know where they got them from, but they's kids now.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Nick Shirley is the problem. If you want to get to the root problem of the United States, it's Nick Shirley and people just like him. The problem is definitely not $9 billion of fraudulent spending of $18 billion allocated towards Medicaid. It's not the fact that we don't have any auditing or any checks and balances or any verification process to see if the services are even being provided. It has nothing to do with the fact that we just pay any invoice that comes across the government desk with no questions or verification process at all. It has nothing to do with 85% of a certain segment of population in Minnesota takes advantage of government services like SNAP and Medicaid, or the fact that millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, wound up in the hands of terrorist groups like Al-Shabaab. It has nothing to do with the fact that this level of fraud in Medicaid happened under the nose of Tim Walz and his administration, or every governmental official or auditing group or process within that state. It's not the fact that this is probably actually happening in every state in the United States. It's Nick Shirley for helping to uncover it and show you that they're billing for services and companies that don't even do anything or even really exist.
Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community, as one video made by a specific individual made this all happen. We've been receiving hateful messages through our voice notes threatening us since the past couple of days, including one that happened yesterday morning when after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening. This is also sad that a video can cause all of this. I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and we all help our children and everyone in our community. We have high quality daycares, and this is very sad news that one individual who made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares engaged everyone else to come and do this to us.
You know, since we found out about the Somalian situation up in Minnesota, everybody's talking about how we pay too much in taxes, they're wasting all of our tax money, and they're going to stop paying income tax and file exempt on their W-2. Fantastic. Please do it and stop filing your tax returns. Just stop. It's unconstitutional. It goes against their jurisdiction, and taxes are voluntary. Look it up. If you take them to the Supreme Court, there is no law that makes you pay taxes. It's voluntary system, and they know that, and that's why they're scared. Stop paying taxes. Have some balls, get some cojones, and stop paying it.
Has anybody else started to reach their breaking point or a boiling point? So this is starting to look like a country that I am no longer proud to have served. I've been working my entire adult life, and I have paid half or more than half back to the government in some way, shape, or form in taxes for the past 30 years. And if you don't believe me, look up everything that you have that is taxed. State income tax, federal income tax, property taxes, payroll taxes, Medicare taxes, Medicaid taxes, sales taxes. Everything is taxed. Everything. And we have a political apparatus where half of them say that if you don't keep us in power, we will steal from you so that we can import people that will. So shut up and go back to work. And another side of the aisle that is either in on it or is totally complete chicken shit and won't do anything about it and won't even try to actually represent the people that vote for them. Is anybody else getting to a point where we feel like we cannot vote our way out of this? Where does that leave us? Because nothing is going to happen about the fraud. Nothing. All of the fraud that Elon Musk and Doge exposed, the Republican Congress put it on the back burner and refused to fucking vote on it. Turned around to the American voter that put them in power and extended one of these. It doesn't matter what we do. This situation is completely freaking unsustainable. Totally and completely unsustainable. It's a waste of time to vote, and it's a waste of energy to pay taxes so that we can give it to people that are going to steal from us. And then we can send it to other countries that hate us. And we can send it to people in the European Union that look down their nose at the American worker and say, good little bitch, go back to work. It's putting us in a helpless situation, and I don't think the people in Washington living in that bubble realize the anger that is fuming outside of the borders of that city. And I am not interested in watching another fucking theatrical congressional hearing where a couple of ballsy Republicans bitch out a fucking corrupt leftist and then nothing happens. Accountability and a fucking tax strike is what needs to happen.
We are being lied to. And not only are we being lied to, we're being exploited at the highest degree. And then on top of it, we're being replaced with the dollars that we work our fucking asses off to produce for our families. They are taking those dollars, they are bringing in people that fucking hate us, and then they are paying them to be here. And if that doesn't piss you the fuck off, dude, I don't know what will. Because I'm gonna tell you this, dude, I've worked my fucking ass off for damn near 30 motherfucking years trying to create jobs and careers and build income and wealth and done all this shit. And these motherfuckers are opening up a daycare and getting 10 million fucking dollars? This is fucking insane, dude. And
with no kids.
If this isn't the breaking point for everybody to stand the fuck up and say enough, then our country is fucking doomed. Period. 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 Okay? Donald Trump needs to feel all the fucking smoke over this. All of it. Okay? He needs to feel all of it over Israel. He needs to understand that he is violating the promises that he has made to the American people. Okay? I've always been a guy that has given that man tons and tons and tons of benefit of the doubt. But at this point in time, that shit is fucking over. And every single motherfucker that ever voted for him or stood with him needs to let him fucking know. He needs to let him hear it. Because, dude, I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't do something about this, and he doesn't start arresting motherfuckers, and he doesn't hold people accountable for the Epstein shit, and for this shit, and for all the fraud, and all the raping that's been going on the American taxpayer for fucking decades, he will go down, and not as the best president, he will go down literally as the man who had the opportunity to save this country and chose not to.
Good morning, you fabulous sons of bitches. Well, it seems pretty obvious at this point that damn near every government-funded NGO program is just a massive money laundering scheme. I mean, Somalis, not Somalis. People don't know this, but back in the 90s, the Russians pulled the same daycare scheme here in the Northwest. Russians and Ukrainians. Yeah. They were white, but they got thrown in jail and shut down as well. So my point being, I think that it's time that all this public money gets shut off. The housing, the daycare. What do you need fucking daycare for anyways if you're not working? Why do you need daycare? Riddle me this. Why do we have publicly funded daycare? It doesn't make any sense to me. If you're on welfare and you qualify for daycare, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Somebody explain that shit to me. Anyways, I think all these government housing, fraught. Government food programs, fraught. The child care programs, fraught. Elder care programs, fraught. All of it fraught with absolute fraud. And I guarantee you it is. And I guarantee you it's going to come to light. Something needs to be done. I'm not sure what. I think we need a tax rally at the Washington State Capitol. I'm not a very good organizer. I'm better at talking shit. If somebody would like to include me in this, I will spread the word about it. All right, you guys have a great day, but think about what I said. Every nickel that's going out in public money to these NGOs is crooked. It's bent. I guarantee it. Peace.
Hey, have you had enough yet? You had enough of the foreign invaders and all the money they're stealing? I mean, millions and billions of dollars? Yeah. Oh, that's all done by design, just so you know. You want to know why? Because our politicians have allowed that. There's no way they can get away with that in real life. That's all been done because the politicians, the judges, and all the local governments and shit they're all in on it. They're fucking us. They're fucking you and me. Do you know that? They're stealing our money. They're letting these people have it, and they're all getting kickbacks. They're all getting rich. Look at their bank accounts. They're all fucking millionaires. Wonder how that happens. Then you got these crooked ass Somalis that come in here and lying and doing all this. They're making millions and billions of dollars off of our back. They're all doing it, not just the Somalis. All the foreigners are doing it. They're getting away with it. We're being replaced. And our politicians don't do a goddamn thing for us. You know what they do? They sit there and make up this bullshit. They act like they hate each other. They act like the left hates the right and the right hates the left, and they do all this crooked shit, and then they say, I'm gonna fucking put that person in jail. I'm gonna do this. Do you ever see anybody held accountable? Zero. Nobody in the government is ever accountable. You notice that? Not a single fucking person is accountable in the government. You notice that? Not a single fucking person, ever. Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, biggest fucking jokes in the world. They don't do shit. They sit there and cry and whine and hide behind shit. Look at Dan Bongino. He had to fucking bail out because of the bullshit that was going on. He's probably the smartest one out of the whole bunch because he didn't want to be tied into their old bullshit when it comes to the point where they're all going to have to flee because we're going after them. This is the United States of America. It's not the divided states of America. Don't listen to their bullshit. Don't play their fucking games. Do you see what they're doing? They do everything to divide us. They try to divide us. They don't do anything to help Americans unite and make the United States of America. We are the United fucking States of America. Do you not realize that? The United fucking States of America. Not the United States of Israel, not the United States of Somalia, not the United States of Islam or any fucking bullshit like that. It's some fucking United States of America. Get off your fucking ass and quit being so goddamn lazy. We're going to lose our country. Everybody sits there around and they bitch. They get on fucking Facebook, they get on TikTok, they get on all these other platforms, and they fucking throw a fit, and they say all this cool shit and play a big fucking game. But at the end of the day, they sit there on their fucking ass and they don't fucking do nothing. We're losing our country. We're going to lose our country, and we're all going to be fucking slaves. You know that, right? You keep this shit up, we're all going to be fucking slaves. It's time to get off your ass and start doing something. America, quit fucking around. The time is now. We need to take our country back. Period. That's it.
Everybody should be able to see it by now. America's been getting scammed for years. And then a self-made billionaire who will put an end to those scams decides to run for president. That's when the scammers tell us that he's working with Russia. And when that failed, they said he was a dictator who would never leave office. And then when he left office, they said he was a racist. And when that failed, they tried to claim he was a sexist. And when that failed, they said he was a fascist. And then when that failed, the same people that have been scamming us for years turned around and tried to use the legal system to prevent him from taking office again. They tried to take him off of the ballots in multiple states. And then they fabricated a bunch of charges to try to put him in prison for the rest of his life. And then, as all of their cases failed one by one, with the exception of mislabeling financial records, somebody tried to take his life multiple times. And then after all of that failed and he actually became president again, now they're trying to claim that he's part of the Epstein list while he's exposing the scammers left and right. And now the scammers are the ones pretending to be the victim. You got Gavin Newsom's employee busted for $5 million in unemployment fraud. You got Eric Swalwell, Adam Schiff, and Letitia James all being investigated for mortgage fraud. You got the Somalian population under Tim Walz stealing over $1 billion worth of fraud and then sending it back to terrorists overseas. You got other people in Minnesota getting charged for election fraud. And now that Trump and the Republicans have shut down USAID, you have companies like PBS News Network out begging the population for money because their funding was cut off. So let's face the facts. If Trump was really a bad guy, they wouldn't have to go out of their way to make up lies and use those lies to convince you that he's a bad guy. All they would have to do is tell the truth, the same way we do about the Democrats. If Trump was so horrible, they wouldn't have to use false accusations to demonize him. They just let him do what he's going to do, and then they would have grounds for impeachment. Instead, they used false accusations to convince people that he's a horrible person. And if the accusations weren't false, then they would have won by now on more than just the mislabeled payments. I mean, seriously, think about it and just apply a little bit of common sense. They attempted to take this man down dozens of times, and every one of those times failed except 34 mislabeled payments. And even that shit was shady. They took a misdemeanor charge, upgraded it to a felony for the first time ever, and then put him on a gag order while they fucking dragged him through the court system. And then, since there were 34 payments, they give him 34 felonies. That way they could jump on the news and use that headline, knowing that low-level, low-IQ people won't go do the research for themselves. But then when you apply the smallest bit of common sense, you realize, wait a minute, a billionaire probably isn't even out there labeling his payments. It's probably an accountant that he hired. So out of all of the things that they've ever accused him of, the only thing they found him guilty of is an action that was committed by somebody else that he hired. Meanwhile, the Democrats attempt to convince you that they're the good guys while they actively fight against law enforcement to protect illegal immigrants. The Democrats use the legal system to attack Trump when he attempts to send in soldiers to bring down the crime rates in those Democrat areas. The Democrats go out of their way to protect criminals and then investigate the President of the United States. Ask yourself, why would they do that? And then just simply take a look around at all this fraud that's being exposed and you'll have your answer. They were attempting to prevent him from coming in and exposing what the fuck they've been doing. If you disagree, then be my guest. Go ahead and prove me wrong.
I'm not paying taxes anymore. That's what a Turning Point contributor said. That's what Havana Hernandez said. She said, fuck it, on her social media today. She said, fuck it. They're going to come after me for a couple $1,000s when the Pentagon, I mean, they don't pass their budget every year. They fail their budget. They fail their audit. And you're going to come after me for a couple $1,000s? Billions. Billions were frauded. Billions. Not millions, not thousands. Billions were frauded by Somali daycare centers in Minnesota, and you're going to come after me for a couple $1,000s? I agree with her. Folks, what do you think? What do you think? We're paying this taxes, and this money, we don't even know where the fuck it's going. We don't even know where it's going. What if we all just say, fuck it, and we stop paying it? You know what? She's on to something, because I don't know about you, I'm sick of the fraud with our money. I'm sick of it. People are getting rich off our money. It's fucking ridiculous. I said what I said.
Hi. To my fellow Americans, I'd like to end 2025 by requesting from our federal government $25,000 for every U.S. citizen that has been a taxpayer in our federal system. And I'm asking for that for anyone. It does not matter what age they are. The only thing that matters is that they pay taxes as a part of our income tax system in the United States. I'm asking for that because we're seeing so much fraud. And we see all of the people that we have elected in Congress, 535 people, and we see all of the fraud that has gone on and no one has done anything about it. They allowed this fraud to go on. What we're seeing in Minnesota did not just start yesterday. We see a very intricate pattern that involve people on many levels, people that actually committed the fraud, who opened daycare centers, who opened home health agencies and did not have students, did not have patients. We even saw where the U.S. Treasury cannot account for $4.7 trillion. We see where Medicare alone in the United States cannot account for $2.7 trillion. We see that the Pentagon cannot account for $2.5 trillion, and they have not passed an audit in 8 years. So as U.S. taxpayers, we're all asking, where is our money going? And just so you know, this money came right out of your paychecks. If you've ever looked and you hear young people say, who is FICA? This is FICA. 6.25% goes to Social Security. Social Security, they were paying over 20 million people that were over the age of 100 Social Security checks when we only have over 100,000 people. So we are seeing over $71.8 billion in fraud in Social Security. We also see the same things from agency after agency after agency. And then if you really want to top that off, look at how much money they were paying for illegal immigrants in this country, where they were given visa cards up to $5,000, free housing, free child care, free transportation, and free food, whereas Americans were not receiving any of this. They were even given, they were even put in front of veterans and given veteran benefits when they were not even U.S. citizens and had never been a part of any of our military systems. They were also given Social Security when you know the average American has to work a minimum of 40 years in order to get Social Security. But even worse than that, we saw that $33.7 billion has been given to Israel since October 7th of 2023. That's right, out of our tax dollars. And then if you look at Ukraine, we're not even sure. I have seen amounts from $200 billion to $300 billion. And then, you know, they keep hiding this little money for Ukraine and for Israel in the backs of all of these bills, and they don't want us to know about it. But because of all of these secrets, because the people that we elected in Washington have totally shirked their responsibilities, their fiduciary responsibilities to take care of us and our tax dollars, I am requesting $25,000 for each U.S. taxpayer. If you agree with me, please repost this. Please send this to everyone you know. And then when it's time for the elections next year, when all of our House of Representatives, they're up for re-election, I'm asking you, make sure that each one of them tells you why they're saying no, that you do not deserve $25,000, because each of them work. This year, they only worked 136 days this year, whereas the average American works 240 days in a year. Yet and still, they make $174,000 a year minimum. And they have already said they're giving themselves an increase. And because of that, I am still asking for $25,000 for U.S. taxpayers. Anyway, repost this and send it to everyone. Thank you.
So Pam Bondi put out a message saying that there will be people in cuffs. Word. How about we get the big fish? See, it's funny when y'all say fucking people. That could just mean any motherfucking body. We need big heads. We need the ones that's actually, you know what I'm saying, perpetrating this shit. The ones that's actually in the background trying to sign paperwork and making this shit legal type shit. We need Timmy Tim. We need Ilhan. We need any one of these motherfuckers. We need the big heads to be arrested and deported. Fuck putting them in prison. No, they don't deserve that. Exile will suffice. They don't need to be denaturalized if they are a citizen. Exile is perfect. As far as it is with Ilhan, the brother fucker, send that bitch back to her continent to go fuck the rest of her family.
All right, let me get this straight. So I'm an American. I'm born here. I'm raised here. I fight for this country. I stand up for this country. I speak the language. I was indoctrinated as a kid. Since I was a child, being told, I'm the problem because I'm a white. I'm the problem because I'm a man. I'm the problem because I'm straight. I'm losing work. I'm getting fired for not getting a forced vaccine. I fight for that. I'm called a far-right extremist, terrorist. I lose friends. I lose family. I lose money. I get fired for being white. Yes, I have the receipts. Emails, tape recordings saying, we don't want you because you're white. It's really not a good look right now. But you can be an illegal immigrant, sneak over the border, come into this country, start fake daycares in Minnesota, fake healthcare companies, get millions, if not billions of dollars funded by the taxpayers. You don't have to speak the language. You can hate America. You can hate white people, and you get off scot-fucking-free. Enough of this bullshit. Enough. You either stand up for it or we're going to lose our goddamn country. You know George Washington started a war because they taxed his tea 3%. People running out into a field in the middle of the winter, no coats, no shoes, getting cannons, bodies blown off, heads ripped off, friends, brothers dying. All to fight for the freedom of this country and lower taxes. It's enough. Enough. Also, I am starting a daycare in Minnesota. And I'm just raising money. I'm trying to raise $5 million by tomorrow morning, for these kids. The kids are going to die if they don't have a place. It's cold out, so they need the daycare. And so that's what I'm working on now. And you can go to my website, tylerfisher.com. It's very important. Okay, thank you very much. No more questions. No, sorry, no questions. No questions.